All right, on this episode of Bare Knuckle Bowker, very excited to be talking to an individual who is headlining BKFC 65, which goes down on September the 6th. And we've got that BKFC flyweight championship on the line as champion Christine Ferea defends against Jade Masson-Wong. And great having Christine on Bare Knuckle Bowker. How's your day been going so far, Christine?
Great. Thank you.
And like, when did you, I guess, get wind that this fight would be taking place? Because it seems like it's been on your radar for, quite a while now. So like, when did that, I guess, initially get on the radar?
Um, I mean, I seen, her power, when I seen her power, when I seen her drop Taylor Starling, I was like, hey, I want to challenge myself against that. I want to see, and then she ran through Gabby, beat her ass pretty easily. So I was like, okay, like, let me see. I like to test myself against, really tough girls and dangerous people to see where I'm at, you know, to prove that I'm the champion and I'm, number one. So when I seen that, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess, I mean, obviously the Bec Rawlings fights were huge, but I guess gives a certain, I guess, diversification of opponents to prepare for, like in terms of
Yeah.
the, I guess, attributes they bring to the table. Like those were big
Mhm.
fights last year, but yeah, new opponent.
Yeah.
I imagine it presents some, I guess, new variables, as it were.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, two totally different fighters, two totally different approaches. I'd like to be able to adjust and see if I can push my mind in that my mind and body and be able to transform myself to be able to beat each opponent. So it's good for um, my legacy and to show that how diverse I am and how much I could bend. And I want to be one of the only champions that was able to be that diverse and strong. And I want my legacy to live on forever. And when they talk about the best, I want to be in that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, back in Salt Lake City after that massive event with Mike Perry and Eddie Alvarez, and now you're headlining, so love to see it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love Salt Lake City. They had a great vibe out there and they love the fights and it's going to be good to perform in front of them again.
Yeah, I mean, so much to talk about with this fight, but also I feel like I'd be remiss if I, didn't touch on the last one because it seemed like you really, put a stamp on everything. Like, obviously, a great performance in the first fight against Beck, but it seems like the rematch offered a chance to, I guess, really
Mhm.
get that additionally
Yeah.
emphatic victory. What were your takeaways from, that fight and just general assessment of that performance?
Yeah, I mean, she was supposed to be the best, and I knew I was the best. I at the she wasn't she wasn't fighting me. I was calling for that fight since the first time they ever called me. I was like, yeah, I want Beck, I want Beck, I want Beck. And they just never gave it to me. So I wasn't ever able to prove and in a lot of like MMA and Muay Thai, I wasn't ever able, they didn't ever give me the opportunity to prove myself. So I was waiting and waiting and waiting for years and years and years to prove myself against, what they called the best. And I already know I can beat them all. I already know what I'm capable of, and I already know where I'm at, and I already know that nobody's giving what I'm giving. Nobody's gonna hit as hard as me. Nobody's going to have the skills or be able to adapt like me. And I get to prove it, and I've got to prove it with Beck. And I got to get everybody to shut their mouths. And I'm gonna do it again September 6th when everybody's like, oh, the right hand with the jaw. She's dangerous. She's young. She's fast. Da, 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 da. I'm like, yeah. So is everybody else. Everybody else had their strengths as well. So I get to prove myself against, the number one contender, and I'm gonna flatten her too.
And something that's kind of cool because I was checking out an interview that you had done for Bare Knuckle News, even just a bit after the first BKFC event that ever happened. And even then, you were talking about, I guess, your ambitions towards Bare Knuckle. And you were kind of even talking about it there in a certain sense, just like how you felt that, I guess, this sport would be one that you could, I guess, really, do great things within. It's just, it's kind of wild to follow the whole journey, even in that sense. But it just seems like with you, there's been this linear thread of like, yeah, I just needed the opportunity and I knew I could
Yeah,
carve out this path.
right. yeah, so I don't I don't have that pretty girl image, and like my my demeanor and image is a lot different than what sells, right, for marketing. So um I feel like a lot of the combat sports weren't giving me the opportunity at the time. Um and that's okay, but times have evolved and people, David Feldman and BKFC didn't discriminate, didn't um uh, keep me to the side because of who I am, and they let me work for what I work for the number one position, and they did it fairly, and I've given the opportunity. I'm in my position, so I just think that bare knuckle. I'm so grateful for it, and I'm grateful that all these years of training and all my dreams and everything that I aspired to be, I was able to try, and I was able to um, work for and try and reach to, and given a fair opportunity, and I'm here. And if I lose it, it's my fault. I can't when I'm 70 years old be like, oh, I wasn't given the opportunity, and I wish I could have done this or I could have done that if I was given the opportunity. I literally will sit at 70 and be like, I fucking did it. And I either won or I lost. It's not gonna be like I didn't get it. I didn't get the opportunity. So I appreciate I appreciate it every single fucking day. I that I'm able to work hard and I don't take that for granted. I work hard every day because I know how much I wanted this, and then I didn't think I was going to get this opportunity. I didn't ever think that the world was going to accept me and let me in to have that opportunity. I thought, oh, I would always be pushed off to the side, and you know, but I wasn't, and I don't take that for granted. And September 6th, I'm going to put on a great show. I'm putting it on the line. I'm going to take some chances and make sure that my boss is happy, for giving me the opportunity, and make sure there's no regret in giving me a main event. There's no regret in what I'm getting paid, and that I'm worth the time and I'm worth giving the opportunity to.
Yeah, it's been a cool journey to follow along with. And you were kind of talking about, getting this opportunity with David Feldman. Like I saw you had a recent post where you were talking about when he had initially reached out to you on a phone call and he's like, "Are you ready to be a star?" And it seemed like based on
Uh,
what you just outlined there, you were like, okay, maybe
yeah,
the promoter's just gassing me up a little bit.
yeah,
But it seemed like you were like, oh, he really held to his word. And I also saw the,
yeah.
cardboard cutouts of yourself and Jade. That was cool.
Yeah, yeah, that was super cool. Like he sent it to me and I was just like, "Oh man, and it brought me back to that moment when he's like, "Hey, you ready to be a superstar?" And I'm just like, "Yeah." Like in my head I'm like, "Okay, dude, like you're just gassing me, Um but there's a lot of ups and downs that I've had with BKFC, and I in the entertainment business, combat sports, never know what to believe and who's selling wolf tickets and all this shit. So it's like I had a lot of doubt because of all the stuff that was happening to me in combat sports and around the gyms, and not being given the opportunity and I feel like a fair shot. So I had a little chip on my shoulder, and but I'm glad I stuck to bare knuckle, and I gave my all to it by faith, I guess you can call it faith. And David Feldman and their team, I mean, whether they liked me or not at the time, and I was a little asshole, they still worked with me. They still gave me a chance. I don't know if they saw past it. I know a lot of different people that knew me on the outside, kind of like, she's not that bad. Da, da, da. They're like, yeah, she's crazy. Da, da, da. But um, it's just faith and committing yourself to something, being loyal to something in the process of it looking like hopeless. So I put my faith in myself as a fighter, and then bare knuckle, and I mean, look where I'm at now, and the things that I have, and where it's taken me, and I'm on billboards in GNC and 7-Eleven now. Like, what the hell? Like, it's amazing, and I'm fucking grateful. I don't take in everything yet because I don't want to get um I don't want to I don't want to get content with where I'm at because I still want to fight like I'm at the bottom. I still want to fight like I'm still trying to be the champion because once you lose that, then that's when that contender is going to come in and knock you out because they're going to be hungrier. So I take things in and I'm grateful for it, but I don't all the way because I want to stay raw. I want to stay savage and I want to stay in the mindset of, I'm always, it's never good enough. It's I'm always trying to reach the next height, the next height, the next height. There's more, there's more, there's more, there's more. One day I'll cut it off and, in competition. But right now, I got to stay hungry. But I do get little glimpses and I'm very grateful for where I'm at. And I'm, it's crazy where I'm at and like the money I'm making now and the attention I'm getting and people knowing me just walking down the street and Bare Knuckles grown so much and giving me such a huge platform for even after I'm done with my career. I'm set, building my legacy here and doing what I do. And I'm just happy I did it and I stuck through the hard times with Bare Knuckle. And it's still even growing.
Yeah, it's interesting because you've seen so much growth in not even just the company, but the sport overall, just with your
Yes.
debut having been at BKFC 3, like so much has happened, right?
Yes. Yes. I was actually BKFC too, but the opponent pulled out. So I was
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I just they called me on, like, not called me. They came to my hotel the day of the fight and said, "You're not fighting tonight." So anyway, yeah. But yeah, I've seen a lot of growth. Uh it's it's crazy. Connor's involved now. I was like, whoa, that's amazing. Just, all the bigger name UFC people coming over helping BKFC, and I understand everything that they're doing on the marketing side. And I think it's great. And whatever's best for the company and bare knuckle, I'm all for it, man. I'm not a hater. Whatever's best, um, I'm here for. I've been given gifts and blessed through bare knuckle. So whatever's done for bare knuckle to make it grow, I'm fucking all for it.
And it's interesting you mentioned that BKFC 2 bout that fell out so close to the actual event because two people you would end up fighting, Bec Rawlings and
Right.
Britton Hart,
Yeah.
were headlining that event. Like, what were your thoughts on that recent Hart versus Starling fight, with Taylor Starling also being another former opponent of yours?
Right. Yeah. I think Taylor did better than I thought. I thought she was gonna get just completely obliterated and outboxed. But I mean she's grown a lot. And I do think there's a lot more potential for Taylor Starling. I don't It's far from over from her. When she got dropped, what really did it for me, so like, what happened in our fight sucked for her. you know um a lot of people thought, okay, she's not a fighter, she's not this, she's not that. But when I determined if she had it in hers when she fought Jade and she got dropped, I was like, if she don't get up, she needs to go to OnlyFans or whatever, just be a waitress, do whatever she does, be a housewife. But when she got up from that punch and she fought all the rest of the rounds, I'm like, okay, this girl, she has it in her. She just needs more experience and she some other things that it's not my place to say, but she has it in her. I think it was a great fight. Britton Hart again showed a lot of why she is who she is, why she is the champion. Um, the two tough ladies. Britton Hart was I've hit her so hard and she just kept coming. In our second fight, in the first fight, I think she would have kept. I know she would have kept going. She's just a really tough lady and skilled, and she's getting better and better. I love the fight. I loved seeing it.
Yeah, it was great. And something else that I was also enjoying more so on the preparatory end of things, like I thought it was cool seeing that you were getting in work with Ava Knight recently. And it seems
Whew,
like
yeah,
maybe she might be stepping into bare knuckle too, which is a very exciting proposition, such a
man.
decorated
Whew,
boxer.
bro, when she hits the scene, she has power in both hands. So you get hit with the right, it feels like same in her left. So people are gonna, yeah, she's a tough one, man. And I don't know, I think she could fight at 125 and 115. So uh, they better watch out.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of talking to her when she was with Bellator. So just, yeah, impressive. A multi-combat sport athlete,
Yeah.
no doubt. And it was also
Yes.
cool seeing you with Valentina Shevchenko recently. So make
Hmm.
some great work out there.
Oh man, yeah, that was. I love Valentina. I'm a huge fan of her. She's like one of my favorite UFC women fighters. Man, it was amazing to be able to train with her. She's cardio queen. Doesn't get tired. Hits hard. Very smart. Very focused. It was great to be around.
Yeah, no, I love that. Just great to see all of that and just, yeah, really excited to see this fight too, just because I feel like it's been a bit since we've gotten to see you. Like, I always enjoy
Yeah.
seeing that, I guess, growth and refinement in your game. Like, I mean, we were kind of talking about it before. Like, your resume is already very rock solid, but you've always had this like very linear kind of drive to like not rest on your laurels and achieve more. So just the fact that this is your
Right.
first fight of the calendar year is exciting. I feel like
Yeah.
we'll even see a new permutation of Misfit out here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I'm with TMT, so I've added a lot to myself, and it's gonna show. It's gonna be it's gonna be a mixture of myself and a little bit of something else. So it'll be great to watch.
And something else I was kind of noticing, and I guess it ties into a bout that actually was previously targeted for you this year because Heather Hardy unfortunately wasn't able to participate in the fight due to the magnitude of the injuries that she had specifically with her brain, which is an unfortunate reality of combat sport. And I was seeing that you were actually taking part in a study to, I guess, monitor the effects on head trauma. So it seems like you're like doing your role to kind of like, I guess, play a
Yeah,
part in understanding that more and everything like that.
yeah. So I go to Cleveland Clinic in Las Vegas. They have them, I think, all over the world. Um, but they I've been doing this for about 10 years, where each year they do an MRI scan on my brain to make sure I'm not declining, and they do it for fighters for free. So they actually pay you. So it's good. It's called the fighter study. It's awesome for us. And um I wanted to make sure, like, if I started to decline cognitively, like, I'm gonna stop, and actually I've gotten cognitively better since bare knuckle. um I don't know why. I don't, probably maybe because I'm not taking as many hits, and I can't stand there and take as many hits in a real fight. I don't know, but it's been great. I extended, you know um the offer to Heather Hardy, and we let her know, Jules Gray did, um about the study, so she can go get her brain checked out, and hopefully they can help her. Hopefully she followed through with that, and because they're super educated over there, and I think they have a ton of funding. So take advantage. If any fighters are scared about their brain and what's going on, just hit me up, and I can definitely shoot you in the right direction.
Yeah, and that's so cool because that was very disheartening to see some of the, I guess, follow-up articles where Heather was getting into, I guess, the nature of her situation and stuff like that. But yeah, great to
Yeah,
hear that you're, extending that branch to her for
absolutely.
sure. But yeah, I guess I want to be like mindful of your time. I'm sure I can ask you a ton of questions, but I guess like one of the like last couple things I wanted to touch on here because I mean, it seems like there's a lot of like big opportunities you're looking for in the future, whether it's gold at 135 or fights with names like
Yeah,
Cyborg or, Amanda
yeah.
Serrano. Like, what would your, not overlooking this fight, obviously, but what would the ideal next step be, you'd say?
135. I want to check out the 135 division, and possibly, Chris Cyborg. I mean, if Amanda Serrano want to come over, big names. I think that people are crossing over all the time. And to get a bigger name like that would be great to, have in my career. I do want like huge names and that big spotlight and that pressure. And someone like Chris Cyborg would be, I mean, the biggest pressure ever. I mean, she's a lot bigger than me. She's savage. She hits hard as hell. She demolishes people. I feel like I'm the in my weight class, I'm the version of her what she is in her weight class. Like she just it would be like the ultimate. It'd be like facing myself, like in terms of like energy. So that would be crazy because then I get to feel what my opponents feel like when they're facing me. Like, oh, she's not gonna win this because I'm not supposed to win, Cyborg. Everybody's gonna be like, okay, no, Misfit is getting her ass beat this time. Like, so I would have to overcome a lot of mental stuff and a lot of physicality, like strengths that she's stronger than me, she's heavier than me, and that's what I usually bring to my opponents. So it would be crazy to have to face that, and it's kind of like the ultimate challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. So many cool opportunities. But a post that I'd seen a few weeks ago, you were saying, and still most brutal knockout ever in BKFC
Yeah.
September 6th, and Jad will be round two. So very specifically calling your shot there.
Mm,
Like it seems like you're
right.
really trying to like specifically like put that out there and manifest it as it were.
Yep. Yes. Um, yeah, that's the plan. I manifest things. I believe in everything I say and um, materialize it, meditate on it, and um, it's gonna be a round two knockout. It's gonna be brutal, and this is gonna be my most viral, my most my biggest performance yet, and I will get fighter of the year again. I'm gonna get fighter 3 years in a row, and I will do it with this knockout.
Yeah, I mean, people have no reason to doubt you based on what you've shown so far. So I definitely hear what you're saying and super appreciate you coming on Bare Knuckle Bowker, Christine. It's always great
Thank you.
getting to get the insights from you on this game. And I mean, we've touched a lot of territory, but figured I'd give you the floor if maybe you had a final parting thought you were wanting to add. I do appreciate your time.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, thank you everybody for watching. Tune in September 6th. I'm going to beat the shit out of this Canadian girl trying to take my belt, take it out of the USA. My country's going through a ton right now. We're all over the place. And I'm just saying that we aren't going to lose this battle. I'm keeping the belt right here in the USA.
Well, I'll certainly be tuned into BKFC 65. I think it's one of the better fights you can put together in the entire sport right now. So, yeah, definitely stoked to check out that flyweight title fight, and I'll certainly be sitting down and doing that. But until then, you have a
Thank
good
you.
rest of your day, Christine, and thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.